Hi, today I was on an IOSH webinar and a great presentation by John Coneybear, who talked to us about safety culture and how you improve it. And John got asked a really tricky question right at the end. It was something like, how do you influence or persuade old school, and those are the words, old school managers? And we all know what that person means by old school managers. John's view was that you had to get them one-to-one and then try to educate and coach them and mentor them and so on. And I think before we do that, there's something really important that we should try to do, and that is build a relationship with that person. So what do we mean by that? Well, I would say it's very difficult to influence anyone if you don't have a good relationship with them. And that kind of means that you should like each other, ideally, and that you should trust each other, that you should know each other. So how do you do that? Well, one thing you should try to do is don't let your job title define your relationship with this person. So try not to become known as the safety person. Oh, here comes Will, the safety guy. What does he want? If every single interaction you have with this person is about health and safety, and therefore turns into a debate or an argument about safety versus production or cost, then your relationship will be defined by your job title. So instead, try to become known as their colleague, their teammate, maybe even their buddy or their friend. It's a completely different relationship at that point, because colleagues and teammates aren't at each other's throats debating safety versus production. You are both on the same side and you're both working with the same goal. And so with that in mind, if you're working with an old school senior person, like a senior production manager or director, ops director, that kind of thing, find out what their goals, priorities and values are. What is the most important thing to them? I can nearly always say with these old school types, it's not health and safety. Health and safety is the most important thing to you, but not to them. For them, it'll be production, deadlines, cost, profit, something like that. And it's not to say safety isn't important, but it's definitely not at the top. And accept that view. This is the most important thing when trying to get to know someone, is don't listen with a view to criticizing and then trying to persuade them to a different point of view. No, come on, some of these people are 40, 50, 60 years old. You are not going to change a lifetime of values that they've built in a day or even in a year. No, sometimes you just have to accept people for the way they are and adapt your values and views to them. So listen to them non-judgmentally. As the great psychotherapist Carl Rogers used to say, show unconditional positive regard. Show a willingness to listen and a willingness to accept them as they are, warts and all. And you'll find this really does help with your relationships. Because if you get the feeling that someone's judging you, even if they don't say anything, if you just get the feeling that they're judging you, they don't like what you say, you tend to like that person less, and you tend to trust them less, and you listen to them less. But if you show unconditional positive regard and you don't judge, you just want to learn and understand what makes that person tick, they'll tend to warm to you and hopefully trust you a little bit more. And once they've expressed their views on, say, health and safety versus production versus cost and all the rest of it, well, try and adapt your working style to their values. So if they think production and cost are the most important thing, well, try and do things safely in a way that helps production, helps you deliver on the production targets, or it helps minimize the costs. So things you can do is try and take away the bureaucracy wherever you can. Try to speed things up, to make things easier wherever possible. And by doing that, you'll start to become viewed as the colleague, as the teammate. Make it abundantly clear, not just through your words, but also through your actions, that you are focused on the ultimate goal of the organization, which is to make money or deliver value to its customers, whatever your mission statement is. That's what you're trying to do. That's your job. And at the same time, you're trying to do things really safely as well. So there we are. Those are some of the things that I would do to try and win over these old school types. It takes time, really hard, and the investment is well worth it. And if all that fails, you can wait for the bastards to retire.